Hey, I am Gokui, and the show starts now. This is Absolute Cinema!
Inside the time chamber, a great battle is about to begin. The three Saiyan face each other with their powers to the maximum, and then the fight begins. Vegeta goes for Broly, who hits him with a blow, pushing him back. Vegeta says, "Oh, he's strong!" Goku goes towards him, releasing upwards and delivering a downward punch, hitting Broly, who ducks, giving space for Vegeta to recover quickly. Vegeta propels himself to the ground with one hand and is launched towards Goku. Vegeta starts to give several blows and Goku dodges. With an impressive speed, Broly leaves for the coma of the two, and an exchange of attacks between the three begins. The fight seems to be very balanced at that moment. Outside, the warriors who decide they must continue their training while waiting for the three Saiyans to leave the time chamber, so Piccolo says,
"Gohan, Granola, shall we go to the mountains and train some more?"
Gohan nods his head. Yes. Granola says, "Of course, we will perfect some techniques while we wait." At that moment, the three say goodbye to Mr. Popo and Dende and fly towards the mountains where Piccolo and Gohan usually train. Back in the time chamber, several days have passed and the hard training continues. The three Saiyans meditate and do various types of training to perfect their techniques and seek to overcome their limits. Broly had never trained with friends before, and now he trained with two Saiyans who came from the same place. That makes him very happy. Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, three extremely powerful warriors coming from the Great Warrior race, were there training hard for the qualifiers of the Great Tournament that would arrive soon. Meanwhile, in other universes, several warriors continue to train. Hey, how's it going? Just here to remind you to click the like button, subscribe here to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and stay well inside our entire universe of Dragon Ball. Let's get back to the point. Hit had settled on a planet within a galaxy known as the Central Galaxy, where he was training with some very peculiar beings who taught him every powerful murderous technique. On this planet, the beings were known for various agility that could control space, time, creation, and the destruction of matter, thus teaching several new skills to Hit. Now he could create energy weapons using the atoms and particles of ki that he himself produced, thus being able to create knives, swords, spears, shields, and various objects just by using a little concentration and a small part of his ki. On the Sadala planet, Kale, Kefla, and Kaba continue their training. The two girls have already managed to overcome their limits and develop incredibly powerful techniques. Kaba had also become a very powerful warrior and had already surpassed the powers of a Super Saiyan. Jiren had become closer to his friend Toppo, and the two managed to become extremely powerful. Toppo had already obtained the agility to control his power of destruction, and Jiren can improve with his overwhelming power. Earth, Universe 7. Piccolo, Gohan, and Granola continue training together. The three have improved a lot and develop incredible techniques. Gohan and Piccolo watch while Granola develops a new technique. He meditates above the mountains, concentrating all his ki, causing him to gather the maximum power in a small space of time. After that, he made it expand by releasing massive and destructive energy around him. He called this massive ki breathing technique. Gohan tells Piccolo, "It's amazing how Granola managed to increase his powers in a time chamber. And here on Earth, isn't it, Mr. Piccolo?" Piccolo answers,
"Yes, Gohan. He is very powerful now."
Gohan continues to say, "It looks like he's almost mastered the new technique." And Piccolo completes by saying,
"We should create new techniques too, don't you think? After all, in this new tournament, we will need to surprise everyone."
Gohan agrees, and they continue their training. Meanwhile, Frieza continues to travel the universe with his army. Frieza, on his ship, happy after being summoned to the tournament, imagine what it will be like when he becomes a deity. Frieza says, "I managed to adapt my Black Frieza form. Now that I have overwhelming power, I will be able to carry out my revenge." Frieza laughs and continues talking. "But now I'm going to dedicate myself to becoming a god of destruction. When I obtain this power of divinity, there will be nothing that can stop me. And everything that I've ever dreamed of will be possible." In celebration, Frieza decides to descend to a planet that was nearby and conquer it with his own hands. He was determined to become a god. and nothing would stand in his way. Frieza, a cold, ambitious, and evil demon with a deep hatred for Saiyans, had never hidden his ambitions, and at this moment was more determined than ever to fulfill his goals of becoming an evil god emperor. Back in the time chamber, we see the warriors taking a break from their training, where they talked a little. Broly says, "We've been here for a few months now, and this is pretty weird." Goku responds, "Outside, not even a day has passed." Vegeta says,
You idiots are not going to keep on training?
Broly responds, "I miss my friends, but I know this training is making me more powerful, and maybe I can control myself when I get mad." Goku says, "Broly, your powers are much greater. Maybe now you can control them." Broly lowers his head, sighs, and doesn't answer. Goku stands up, closes fists, and says, "Well, let's get back to training." At that moment, we see Gohan training with Piccolo. Piccolo makes a huge energy shield around himself and tells Gohan,
Come, but don't hold back, Gohan.
He prepares his ki, clasping his hands above his head and concentrating a reasonable amount of energy. He shouts, "Supremazinko!" At that moment, countless spheres of energy leaves his head, going at extreme speed towards Piccolo, who with great difficulty tries to defend himself. And Piccolo says,
You did it, boy. You obtained an extremely powerful new technique. If you used all your power to attack me, I would be in pieces right now.
The hours passed quickly, and it was time to go back to the temple. As Goku, Vegeta, and Broly were about to leave the time chamber, and everyone was curious to see how powerful they've become, the three warriors head towards the temple at high speed, with the intention of arriving before the three Saiyans leave. In the temple of Dende, he carefully observed the door of the time chamber and said, "A few minutes, they will already leave. Have they managed to evolve their powers?" At that moment, we see Goku and Vegeta together with Broly still training. They wage a battle intent. Vegeta fires his final flash in the direction of the two, Broly throwing his energy sphere. Goku charges his Kamehameha as he goes towards them. The three begin to go from side to side, attacking with fury. Suddenly, Broly's powers began to expand wildly. It was the first time he would lose control in a long time. Vegeta tries to stop him, and Broly grabs Vegeta's head and starts hitting him on the ground, while Goku hit him with countless punches and kicks, and Broly felt absolutely nothing. With the other hand, Broly holds Goku by the face and makes the two Saiyans hit each other's head, making them dizzy. Goku managed to break free, but Vegeta was still punished by Broly, who knocks him to the ground and starts stomping his face several times. Goku screams, "Kamehameha!" hitting Broly with all his power. He continues advancing towards the Saiyan. Vegeta still is lying on the ground, totally defeated, unconscious. His left arm was broken, several ribs injured, and his leg had been crushed. With training, Broly had become 100 times more powerful. And now that he had reached his form without conscience, his power had multiplied thousands of times. Goku finds himself cornered, and Broly quickly approaches, hitting him in the belly, making him spit blood. Then Broly presses to the ground, holding his face. Broly's hand was bathed in Goku's blood. The gigantic Saiyan punished him by giving several powerful blows to his belly. Goku looks into Broly's furious eyes, slowly stretches his hand towards Vegeta, and just as he's about to lose consciousness and pass out, a small glow passes through his fingers and starts to climb up to his arm. His hair starts to change colors, and everything around him starts to vibrate. Outside the time chamber, the sky darkens, and several rays begin to fall from the sky. Goku's eyes shine brightly, and Broly's blows get slower and slower. At that moment, a gigantic explosion happens, throwing Broly away, and Goku manages to achieve a new transformation. Inside the time chamber, everything shook and the sky darkened, and all he could see was the glow of intent emanating from Goku. Broly, still out of control, lunges at him, and all that can be seen is Goku's hand slowly reaching up and touching Broly's face. At this moment, a gigantic explosion of light takes over everything, and then everything goes dark again. Outside the temple, the warriors who approached in an instant sense a very powerful presence. Piccolo at this moment speaks.
Did you feel this awesome power? I couldn't detect a single key, but I sensed the presence more intimidating than the presence of Beerus himself.
Gohan responds, I also felt that. What could it be? Granola says, is that an enemy? They keep going to the temple. Frieza was now more powerful than ever to achieve his goals. His evil mind can't stop imagining everything he can do if he achieves his goals. His plans and desires now seem to be getting closer and closer. In an unknown universe, in a distant galaxy, in an empty and dark shadow place, 3 silhouettes appear in the midst of darkness. Could these be the warriors from a universe we didn't know yet? Beings with a dark and evil aura. The being who was in the center, who appears to be the leader, with a frighteningly evil voice, he said, the time has come for us to begin and put our plan into practice. Everything is already decided, and nothing can stop us. This time, we will become the supreme sovereigns. Going back to the time chamber, we see Vegeta throwing water over Goku, who was unconscious. Goku awakens and asks, are you okay, Vegeta? What happened? Vegeta says,
I don't remember very well, but Broly was out of control and the damn thing knocked me out. And from that moment, I can't remember anything. I just know that I woke up after a while and you were out. And I was very hurt. But I managed to reach the sensu beans and then I recovered. And so I came to wake you up.
Goku gets up and asks, where's Broly? Goku closes his eyes and leans in and says, I can sense his ki, but it's pretty weak, and it's too far from here. I'm going to get him. Goku then teleports to another place within the time chamber. Locating Broly, he sees him unconscious, with his clothes torn and extremely injured, and then he puts his hand on him and teleports back to where Vegeta was. Broly awakens and asks, what happened? I can't remember. I was out of control again, wasn't I? Sorry, I didn't expect this to happen. Vegeta then, being aggressive as usual, yells,
You damn bastard! You can't control your useless power and you still don't remember a thing!
Goku then starts to say, calm down, Vegeta. You and I can't remember what happened either. In fact, the 3 of us lost because we have no idea what ended up happening. Vegeta then crosses his arms and frowns. He looks in the sides and says,
damn it. I was close to die and that made my powers increase even more. So this time I won't kill this idiot.
Goku then says, well, we still have a few hours to stay here. So, shall we go back to training? Vegeta agrees, and Broly's still a little unsure of continuing with the training because he was insecure, afraid of losing control again. So Goku, with his polite and extroverted way, says, hey, trust yourself. I know you won't lose control again. He smiles and puts his hand on Broly's head. And then the 3 Saiyans go back to training. They had only a few hours left there. Outside the temple, Gohan, Piccolo, and Granola arrives. And Gohan asks, does it take a lot of time for them to leave yet? Dende answers, no, it's almost time. They're probably going to leave any minute now. At that moment, everyone there begins to feel an overwhelming pressure. Piccolo's surprised and serious says,
they're coming.
The door of the time chamber opens, and at that moment the 3 warriors came out. Their powers had grown in an unimaginable way, and even the warriors who were out there watching can't believe it. Or if you want, you can imagine how powerful those 3 warriors were. Goku then smiles, says, hey guys! Impressed, Gohan asks, Father, your powers are incredible. How did you reach this level? Goku, still confused, says, Gohan, honestly, we don't even know what happened in there. I just know that I feel my powers flow in a way I never felt before. Piccolo then approaches and asks,
Goku, are you going to look for someone else for the tournament? Because so far there's only us.
After hearing this, Goku responds, I still don't know who I can call, but I have an idea. I'll be right back. Then suddenly Goku teleports away. Already? Goku arrives at the planet of destruction and meets Whis. He already arrived asking, hey, Mr. Whis, where's Lord Beerus? And Whis responds, I sent him to a place where only some gods can go. He told me he needed to prepare and do some training. So I sent him there because it's a perfect place for a god of destruction to hone his powers. And he is the only one who would bear to train in a place like that, so you won't find him here. Do you need him for anything? Goku, with wide open eyes, comes very close to Whis and excitedly says, Mr. Whis, would you let me go to that place too? Whis hits Goku's head with his staff and says, I just said it's a place made specially for gods of destruction. By any chance you're a god of destruction and I'm not aware of it? Goku, who had fallen sitting on the ground, responds, ow, 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 ow. It hurts, Sir Whis. Well, I'm not. It's just, I just imagined it would be an amazing place to train, and so I wanted to go there. Ow! You didn't have to hit me so hard. Whis speaks. That's what you deserve. Goku then responds, oh, I almost forgot. do you know how many Universe Warriors should go to the tournament? And could you tell me? Whis responds, Goku, you didn't pay attention to the rules, did you? Alright, I will explain to you. Each universe can take an indefinite number of warriors as long as it does not exceed the limits of 10. For the playoff, these warriors will be drawn in battles until only the necessary amount is left, which in this case is 12, and they are left to face the god of destruction. Do you understand now, little guy? Goku then says, oh, so there's no need to look for anyone anymore. Whis then speaks, I'm going to give you a very important information. An angel was sent to each universe to invite the warriors, but powerful ones who had not been called, or who were not invited to the meeting. We communicated that there would be a tournament, so this time the universes don't have to worry and look for more warriors, because it would be very difficult to know which warrior would be able to participate apart from the people who were invited. But all those who were present at the meeting, the great high priest already took the necessary steps to summon them. Goku scratches his head and says, damn, I didn't understand anything. Whis smiles and says, in addition to the participants you called, don't worry about calling other people. We've already taken care of that. Goku, still confused, just reply, okie dokie then. Will you take me to Beerus? Angry Whis replied, I already said no. Laughing, Goku teleports back to Earth. Meanwhile, in Universe 6, Jiren and Toppo continue their training. At that moment, they were in a fierce combat to know how far they could increase their powers. Toppo, in this form god of destruction, flew quickly towards Jiren, who was calm with his arms crossed and his eyes closed. When he noticed that Toppo was approaching to attack him, he just opened his eyes and only with the pressure of his powers managed to repel the attack from above. He raises his hand with 2 fingers pointing upwards, causing a key sphere to emerge from the ground below Jiren, catching him by surprise. Jiren, then high up, punches the air and the crushing pressure of his fist hits Toppo's back. Thrown to the ground, Toppo recovers, quickly raises his hand and screams, Justice? Flash! Firing dozens of attacks in an instant. Jiren flies to the sides, dodging all attacks and then boosts himself appearing in front of Toppo with absurd speed. And Toppo only realized it when he heard, You're finished. At that moment, Toppo looks down and sees Jiren's closed fist touching his body, understanding that he had been defeated. Everyone was looking forward to the tournament qualifiers. Goku arrives on Earth after talking to Whis and solving his doubts in a part. From this moment, all they could do was wait. Everyone was excited and anxious for the great battle to begin. There was still some days left for the tournament to start, so Goku and the others decided to train a little more until there were only 2 days left. And in those 2 days, they would rest, so that they had all the energy to fight. Frieza, the great emperor of evil, was too anxious to be able to wait until the day that the qualifiers would start. And then, to meet his need for combat, he traveled around the universe finding some planets where they simply destroy them, thus letting the days pass a little less boring. In other universes, several warriors prepared to give their all to increase their powers. In a distant universe, some warriors decide to get together so that they can make a mini-tournament among themselves so that they can expand their powers. In another one, the beings from that place just waited patiently. And everything was being meticulously planned for this incredible tournament to be held to decide who would be the new gods of destruction of the universes. A few days passed, and Goku is already at his house with his wife Chi-Chi and his youngest son Goten. Broly had gone to stay at Goku's house while they wait for the day that the qualifiers would start. Krillin arrives on an unexpected visit with Gohan and Piccolo, and everyone decides that they would go to the riverside so that they could have a moment of leisure and getting to relax a little first of all. Arriving there, everyone is happy and excited. But Broly is just sitting, watching the river pass. Watching the birds, the trees, the grass, and all the animals that they were there. Broly looked sad. At that moment, Goku approaches and the two begin to talk. Goku says, Hey Broly, how's it going? You seem to be upset about something. And Broly answers, No, it's not a big deal. Goku continues to say, Sure, everyone is happy and excited, but you're sitting here very quietly. What happened? Broly then starts to say, I don't know if I should be here. My powers drive me crazy sometimes and I'm dangerous. Goku watches and says, I understand. But don't you remember anything that happens when you're in that form? Broly responds, most things don't, and I see some flashes in my mind of some things that happened. Goku looks seriously at Broly. Hey, you don't have to be like that. Let's figure out a way to help you control your powers. At that moment, Broly says, Goku, I remember something that happened in a time chamber. I remember seeing a Super Saiyan with a different form, and suddenly a flash, and I don't remember anything else. Goku is surprised and says, It was just me, you, and Vegeta. I'm sure there was no one else there. Broly is confused and says, It felt so real. I'm sure I saw a strange figure that I had never seen before. That was a Saiyan. Goku gets thoughtful and suddenly says, I don't think there really was someone else there but us. But I'll try to figure out something. With these doubts, they continue to wait for the day of the qualifiers. And the days passed slowly. There were only 2 days left for the qualifiers to start. Hit! The assassin from Universe 6 is finishing his training. He had obtained incredible powers, and at that moment he was going to a planet where several warriors from Universe 6 would meet. Saiyans from that universe, Jiren, so they wait until the long-awaited day. On planet Earth, all the warriors go to Bulma's house, and there they gather. On planet Earth, all the warriors go to Bulma's house, and there they gather so they can wait. In the other universes, everyone starts to gather in specific places so that they can reach the tournament site together. Meanwhile, Frieza continued having fun destroying some planets, so that time passed faster, for he was eager to become the god of destruction. Frieza has just landed on an unknown planet where several families resided, simple-minded beings who watched the evil emperor approach, and then the leader of that community appears. Frieza arrives next to them. The leader arrives next to receive him and says, Welcome, my good sir, to our humble home, where we can serve you. Welcome, my good sir, to our humble home so that we can serve you. Frieza then starts laughing. And he responds, That's right. I want you to serve me, but I have no interest in you, so just die. At this moment, Frieza shoots a blast of energy that crosses the chest of the leader, and everyone starts desperately running away. Frieza fires numerous attacks, wiping out most of the inhabitants. Some manage to run away and hide. Frieza starts to fly, and while flying through the sky stops and observes everything around him and says, I will not waste my time looking for each one of you. I will exterminate you all. And then Frieza starts to rise, flies higher, raises his hand with the tip of his finger and starts to laugh. As a sphere of energy begins to form, that power takes on absurdly gigantic proportions, and with an evil laugh, more fireworks! He hurls it at the planet. Right now, we can watch that little world break up into little pieces. And so Frieza, Emperor of the Universe, destroys yet another race. When approaching slowly and possible to see, Frieza amidst the wreckage as if nothing had happened. His eyes filled with evil looks ecstatic for destruction. He says, What beautiful fireworks! After which, he raises his arm and contemplates the magnitude of his powers. Back for the planet Earth, we can observe all the warriors gathered, and we see Gohan surprised as he asks, Dad, then the other warriors of our universe were called, which we still don't know. And Piccolo completes saying, Goku, you could have at least asked Whis other warriors were summoned, so that we don't even have a surprise. Goku embarrassed in response, I kind of forgot. He hit me with the staff on my head, so I didn't have time to ask. At this point, Vegeta looks over and just sighs. Trunks and Goten run over and ask Gohan, Big brother, can I participate too? There will be very strong guys there. Gohan bends down, puts his hand on his head and says, You can't go there because all the warriors have already been summoned. But maybe in the next one we can take you. In the meantime, train and get very strong. Goten gets a little upset but manages to understand and says motivated, I'll try hard, and next time I'll be stronger than you. I will wait. And Vegeta, he walked from one side to another with his little daughter in his arms and said, Why did this bunch of idiots have to come here? And acting a little goofy, he says, looking at his daughter, They are disturbing the great little princess of all Saiyans to sleep. Then they come across with Bulma looking at him. At this moment, he immediately regains all his Saiyan pride and says,
Take her, Bulma. She wants to sleep.
handing her daughter in Bulma's arms, turning her back with a flushed face, crossing her arms and walking away. Bulma lets out a slight smile and says to her little daughter, "Dad is so affectionate, right? But he has to maintain a macho attitude." Time continues to pass, and a few hours later, it wasn't long before they went to the tournament qualifiers. Everyone was gathered there, awaiting anxiously for the time to go to arrive. And then Whis arises in that spot. And then he starts to say, "Gentlemen, are you all here? It's time to go." The Z warriors say goodbye to their families, and together with Whis, they leave. Sometime later during the trip, they were making a cosmic cube. Goku asks Whis, "When will this tournament take place, Mr. Whis?" And Whis responds, "The tournament will be had in an empty universe. Lord Zerno himself provided it so that all warriors can present all their skills. We have already built the arena, and now we are just taking everyone to start." And finally, the long-awaited moment arrives. As the warriors approach, they observe a gigantic construction wandering in the middle of the empty universe. And they begin to observe that there were already several warriors from various universes, and there would be the place where a spectacular battle would begin. To be continued. Which warriors will participate in the knockout phase of the tournament? What will happen now that the tournament is about to start? Regardless of what it is more than important that you already expose it here in your comments so that we can enter into that crazy debate. Click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and that's it for the video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!
This is so much fun!